INDOT takes steps to take the headache out of Memorial Day weekend travel, and a routine audit means a huge headache for one Northwest Indiana youth organization. These stories and more coming up next on Lakeshore Report.
The Indiana University Northwest School of Business and Economics is the only public institution in the region to hold AACSB International accreditation. The program provides undergraduate business education with a balanced curricula based in leadership, teamwork, and technology. IUN serves both traditional and non-traditional commuter students in a diverse urban environment. Learn more at iun.edu/business.
Programming on Lakeshore Public Television is underwritten by NIPSCO. NIPSCO, helping to save energy and money with programs and ideas for your home, including the Appliance Recycling Program. That old freezer or refrigerator may be costing you more in energy than it's worth. It's possible to save up to $100 a year on your energy bill, and we'll pay you to pick it up. Find out more at nipsco.com/saveenergy.
Lots of Hoosiers are celebrating the Memorial Day weekend by taking to the roads. AAA projects that more than 36 million Americans will be loading up the car and traveling 50 miles or more from home, a 1.5% increase over last year. In light of that, the Indiana Department of Transportation is enacting a roadwork moratorium throughout the holiday weekend to help make Indiana roads safer and travel just a little bit easier, at least until sometime Tuesday morning. However, as soon as the celebrating is over, some major construction projects are scheduled to get underway. The Indiana Toll Road has announced plans to begin work on the Lake Station exit bridge over 8094, forcing drivers wishing to exit eastbound 8094 at Lake Station to detour. The project will finish up sometime in November. Also starting up post-Memorial Day weekend, the 8094 Salt Creek Bridge reconstruction at milepost 26.5. Now that construction on the Indiana segment of a new pipeline that will carry Canadian crude oil to Midwestern refineries is complete, Enbridge has announced plans to start cleanup and restoration activities over the next couple of weeks all along the pipeline's right-of-way. Though it had planned to start that work at an earlier date, Enbridge encountered delays in construction and harsher than anticipated winter weather conditions. In a letter to local landowners, Enbridge apologized for any inconvenience or disruption caused by the delays and reiterated the company's intent to restore the right-of-way to meet the expectations of landowners, regulators, and public officials. Enbridge is encouraging those with questions or concerns about the restoration work to contact their Valparaiso office at 219-462-5540. The Office of the National Football League announced this week that Indianapolis will not be hosting Super Bowl 52 in 2018. That honor was awarded to Minneapolis, Minnesota. Minnesota's win in the fourth round of voting keeps with the NFL's tradition of rewarding teams that invest in new stadiums. The Vikings will be playing their next two seasons at the University of Minnesota as the club builds a $1 billion state-of-the-art facility on the site of the old Metrodome. Despite Indy's third-place finish in the selection process, Governor Mike Pence, honorary co-chair of the 2018 Super Bowl bid committee, commended those who worked to put the city's presentation together, saying he looks forward to other opportunities to showcase Hoosier hospitality. A routine financial investigation at the Boys and Girls Club of Porter County has revealed a $33,000 shortfall. The club filed a report with the Valparaiso Police Department after noticing missing cash receipts from their Kids Stop before and after school program. Ryan Smiley, president of the Boys and Girls Club of Porter County, says a full audit determined that the funds went missing over a 2-year span from 2012 to 2014, and that the unnamed employee responsible for the program's receipts was fired after an external audit. The club is cooperating with authorities in the judicial process and is seeking full restitution of the funds. In a media statement, Smiley said, quote, "This is a very unfortunate and hurtful situation for all of us associated with the Boys and Girls Clubs of Porter County." Now that state and county primary elections are over, winning candidates are setting their sights on November, and so is a local organization dedicated to ethical government. The Shared Ethics Advisory Commission asked all primary candidates in Lake, LaPorte, and Porter counties to sign the same Candidate Ethics Action Pledge. Candidates signing the pledge agree that they will use and support ethical decision-making and provide ethics trainings for their employees. The Before the May 6 primary, 124 candidates signed the pledge. Commission President Cal Bellamy says the response is very encouraging, but the group's work is only beginning.
Follow-up will come in November, because we will take those candidates that were nominated who signed the pledge and remind them that they signed, and then we will contact the candidates, the nominees rather, who didn't sign, and encourage them to sign before it's too late.
Leading up to the November election, the Commission intends to encourage support and endorsements for candidates who sign the pledge. Next, Lakeshore's Hillary Powell shows how local officials are continuing to address a recent oil spill impacting area waters.
Nearly a month ago today, an oil spill at the BP refinery in Whiting, Indiana, sent an unknown volume of crude oil into Lake Michigan waters. Lake County Surveyor Bill Emerson Jr. sent a letter seeking answers from the energy company. He's starting to get them now about what kind of chemicals leaked into Lake Michigan and BP's efforts to stop future spills.
Everything in yellow drains down to the Kankakee, and everything in green drains up to the Little Calumet River.
For a man whose job centers around water maintenance, Lake County Surveyor Bill Emerson Jr. has spent the past 30 days focused on oil. A March 24th oil spill at BP's Whiting refinery sent federal officials from the Environmental Protection Agency to the Lake Michigan's shoreline for cleanup efforts.
There were two different types of sour crude that were mixed and somehow ended up in the cooling system that went into the water treatment plant and eventually made its way into the lake.
15 to 39 barrels of oil spilled into the lakefront, BP spokesman Scott Dean says. Though federal EPA officials declared the cleanup complete on April 4th, Emerson, an engineer and lawyer, wants more accountability on the local level.
The spill happened so close to the water intake for the Hammond Waterworks, and you know, heaven forbid, and there's no sign that this happened, but if that water were to make its way to that intake, it would become my problem very quickly.
That's because the spill was 2 miles from the Hammond Waterworks intake, which supplies drinking water for more than 300,000 residents.
That's not very far when you're talking about right on the lake there.
Emerson says he met with BP officials in late April. The results of that meeting were these.
They provided these two material safety data sheets showing the types of oil that spilled into the lake.
The material safety data sheets, or safety data sheets, are OSHA required for hazardous chemicals and can be requested from BP by the public. Emerson says the documents provide the answer to a lingering question since the spill: the physical and chemical properties of the crude oil. 3 types of ingredients were present: benzene, hydrogen sulfide, and polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, or PHHs.
These chemicals volatilize into the air. My understanding from the cleanup activities is that the level that was released from these chemicals may not have long-term effects on the ecosystem.
George Nana is the director of the Purdue Calumet Water Institute. He says he worked with BP during an expansion in 2007 and was contacted by the company after the spill. Nana says he's awaiting the results of an EPA report, which he hopes will show concentration levels for each chemical involved in the spill.
What is not clear yet, or at least I've not seen from the cleanup exercise, is the level of the concentration of these 3 chemicals, benzene, hydrogen sulfide, that was released into the atmosphere. Not only water, air, and soil. So there should be air sample test, water sample test, as well as soil sample test.
Both BP and officials from the Indiana Department of Environmental Management say there's no known deadline for the EPA's final report.
Since the spill occurred in an international shipping water, Lake Michigan, the feds took the lead.
Though cleanup efforts are over, Emerson says safety measures should be ongoing.
One of the things I'm really concerned with is making sure that this doesn't happen again.
Preserving the Lake Michigan is not just beneficial to industry, but as a community, you know, preserving the health of the ecosystem is very, very important. You know, so I'm hoping that adequate measures will be put in place to prevent this kind of accidents in the future.
Emerson says he expects to meet with BP officials again by next month. Well, Steve Walsh, host of Regionally Speaking on 89.1 FM, also met with a business leader focused on his company's future. Bob Heiss talks about being the new executive editor of the Times of Northwest Indiana.
With the retirement of Bill Nangle, the Times of Northwest Indiana has its first new executive editor in decades. Bob Heiss took over May 12th, which is last week. Bob comes from the State Journal-Register in Springfield, Illinois. He takes over at a time when the industry is in such upheaval that some wonder whether or not there is a future for newspapers. On that note, Bob, welcome.
Oh, thank you. I'm honored and thrilled to be here, and it's just a great opportunity to be with you today.
You know, fair disclosure here, I spent most of my career in newspapers, but I will tell you, I wonder what the future is. It's a very scary time, isn't it?
The future is bright as this light that we have here right now. I mean, this is the best time, I think, that journalism can have, because we can tell our stories in multiple ways, in multiple platforms. We can reach people who may not ever pick up print. And then we can really bring visibility out. So we have a great opportunity. I think when you're an editor, and I've been an editor at a couple different papers, readers will call you and say, I really like my paper, I read it every day, I hope it doesn't go away. We're here for a long, long time. We're very strong, and I'll tell you, when you see the Sunday papers in Northwest Indiana and the country, if they had another way to get those ads in, they'd be going somewhere else. Newspapers are very strong.
Oh, well, they're not very strong. They've lost classified ads, they've lost obits, things like that. A lot of the stuff that had been the staple. And of course, we've seen several papers go under. Are you saying that the Times really isn't suffering from any of that?
The Times is in good shape. I think we can make it even better. Newspapers, I benefited in Springfield from some great readership survey that was independent. I added some things that made the paper even better. I hope to do that here and improve the print experience for everybody. At the same time, we can send out news as it breaks, and we can reach readers through the phone. I mean, these are ways that we didn't have just not too long ago, and it's very bright.
On that note, I mean, how have things changed over the last couple of years in newspapers? You can't really wait for the Sunday paper to put out your best stories anymore, can you?
No. What's changed, and the Times just hit this mark, and other papers have, is mobile traffic is now overtaken desktop traffic. Our traffic, one of the things that happened during the recession is that while we all had to face cutbacks and things like that in newspapers, and you see it because there aren't as many pages and things like that, our traffic, web traffic and readership actually went up during the recession. And every study that's done, every mobile study says people want news from their phone, and news is provided by a newspaper and its staff.
I'd love to get into that a little more, but you're just getting here. I mean, what do you think some of the big stories, your first impression of Northwest Indiana?
I think working together. There are so many municipalities here, and I think one region has been started. I think the more they work together, good government, best practices work together, I think that would be a great opportunity. I think the access, bringing rail further out, the access to Chicago, a great city.
Extending the South Shore.
Exactly, and these are things I know are playing out, and I think they're very, very important for the community to grow. We have our staff and people here live in both Illinois and Indiana. I think Northwest Indiana has a great opportunity to be the leader.
All right, well, that's where we're going to leave it for right now. Bob Heiss, thank you for being on.
Thank you.
For more of our interview with Bob Heiss, visit our website, lakeshorepublicmedia.org. High school graduation ceremonies will soon be taking place across the nation. As many students prepare for college courses, parents are often left to wonder if their child is ready for college culture. Drinking alcohol and even binge drinking is sometimes viewed as a rite of passage or normal for young adults. But community leaders in Porter County are working to change that mindset, and they're beginning by recruiting an army of advocates.
Studies have shown that prescription drug abuse and heroin use are both on the rise among American teenagers. In light of this, some parents may begin to feel that so-called minor problems, such as experimenting with alcohol, are safer. But addiction specialist Alan Markwood says that false perception is dangerous.
Young people who start drinking before the legal age, the earlier they start drinking, the more likely they are to get into all kinds of trouble.
Mark Wood is Corporate Director of Prevention Services for Chestnut Health Systems. After decades of treating people addicted to narcotics, he says the potential consequences of underage drinking are very real.
One of the most consistent findings of research is the younger you start, whether it's drinking or using any drug, the more likely you are to have a number of problems. In some ways, if you prevent someone from starting drinking or even delay the starting of the drinking, in some ways you're potentially preventing a lot of other drug use too.
Mark Wood brought his expertise to Chesterton this week as part of a town hall meeting hosted by the Porter County Substance Abuse Council. The event was designed to go beyond merely talking about the problem and begin identifying solutions. Participants were asked to be active in preventing alcohol abuse, like an army with thousands of boots on the ground.
Or when they do drink, or when they get caught, their lack of adverse consequences.
How about that they have to talk to a parent who has lost someone because of a drunk driver, or they have to visit with somebody that has spent years in jail?
Following a 16-year-old model called the World Cafe Method, members of the Substance Abuse Council guided participants through a series of small group sessions. Stephen Gill of the Indiana Youth Institute says the goal is to bring together residents who might otherwise never interact.
And the World Cafe allows you to sort of flush out your ideas and your thoughts. It's a great way to hear and build upon others' ideas and thoughts, because you lay a foundation and then you continue to dig deeper.
Ideas which begin in one group are then expanded upon by another group, allowing a diverse community to find common opinions or beliefs in a single meeting. Many participants identified parental behavior as a main issue when teaching alcohol safety, while others point to media and peers as problematic.
I know that a lot of parents are addressing issues, even if it's not alcohol, about building relationships with their kids where it becomes, they're watching what their kids are doing, making sure that it's safe, that kind of thing. And that kind of instinct that parents have from young childhood works real well too if it's carried through. So just to have parents be aware of that and comfortable with it is part of what we're trying to do.
Mark Wood reminded the group that every city and town is different, and there is no one-size-fits-all solution to alcohol abuse. But everyone agrees that changing a community-wide issue will require community-wide support, and workshops like this are a good place to start.
Well, alcohol, drug use, those are epidemics that affect entire communities. So you can't just say it affects seniors. This is a senior citizen problem. You can't just say it affects kids. It affects everyone.
Because some of the main issues are societal in nature and not individual, things like this are vital. It really takes a village to get this straight and kind of work through the possibilities and go slightly this way, slightly that way until you're in the right direction.
For more information on the Substance Abuse Council, visit their website at portercountysac.org. A Chicago actor has set up shop in the region, bringing his unique art to life in Miller, Indiana. John Kane has more in this week's Eye on the Arts.
Hi, joining me for this edition of Eye on the Arts is Jeffrey Baumgartner. Not only is Jeffrey an actor, but he's also a visual artist.
Indeed.
And you're going to be doing all of that.
It all happens.
And more.
It all happens
out
for
in
30
Miller.
days in Miller.
Yeah.
Which I just moved. I just moved in October. I just relocated my studio to
From
Miller.
Chicago.
From Chicago. I've been in Chicago 30 years.
And you've been acting?
30 years.
And painting?
Indeed. Painting not quite as long.
Yeah, so acting came first.
It did. I was doing a long run at Steppenwolf Theater in Chicago, and I thought I should do something while I'm doing this long run, and I took on a whim a painting class at the Art Institute, the School of the Art Institute, and it was, I'm very aggressive about it, and my learning curve diminished very quickly, but it was really exciting.
So out here in our area, in Miller specifically, you're going to be portraying John Barrymore.
Which is something I did
Ghost.
in Barrymore's Ghost. And I had the good fortune to play Barrymore in a play called I Hate Hamlet, Paul Rudnick, a bunch of years ago. And I used a monologue, and I was auditioning up in Milwaukee. And somebody said, it's a nice match. You might want to think about this Barrymore's Ghost. And I've been doing it for a bunch of years now. I have to get rid of this, and then I have to do my little pencil pen, but other than
Oh, that sounds
Yeah,
fun.
so it
I'm
should be
looking
fun.
forward to seeing it.
2 performances.
Just 2?
Yeah.
Just 2, and
Just
they're
2.
at the Marshall J. Gardner Center.
Correct, in downtown Miller, and Saturday, June 14th and 21st, 8 p.m.
Mm-hmm. That'll be great.
It will, and it's a nice match pairing with the visual arts.
Right, a special project you're doing.
Correct, and it's called One a Day, 30 and 30, Impressions of Miller. So I will take 30 locations in and around Miller and Miller Beach and paint for 30 days.
What's your medium?
It's oil.
Okay.
And so, I over the last 3 years have been almost exclusively plein air, out of doors. So I am painting every morning and meeting all the denizens of Miller, several of which want to help me paint.
Oh, isn't that nice of them?
It's just lovely. So it's been really great that I paint in the mornings and then I go back to the studio and develop a larger painting off of this.
Well, that's going to be great.
Oh,
well, it's good to have you here with us. So
thank you. I'm excited.
And I'll look forward to interviewing you again in the
you.
future.
Good.
Okay. Thank you for being here, and thank you for watching. We'll be back again next week with another edition of Eye on the Arts.
This week, I got to go shop to my heart's content at a beautiful open-air market in a classic Northwest Indiana location. We're looking at handcrafted goods, tasting wonderful homemade foods. We are in Chesterton, Indiana, exploring the European market on this week's Jump in the Lake. What's so special about the European market here in Chesterton?
Well, it really is. It's a community event that a lot of people come out and they enjoy the day. They get to buy things they can't find anywhere else. So it's a fun day.
How long is the market been going on?
This is the 11th season, I believe.
And you guys have seen just enormous growth since that first season, haven't you?
Oh yes, it just started as a few rows in this main parking lot here in the chamber, and now we've expanded to the park and on 3rd Street.
First of all, the location's beautiful. I mean, I love the park and I like the area. It's a very nice downtown area. And it's got a huge draw. There's lots of people who come here from all over.
What do you like about this market? What makes it special?
It's the people. We get such a variety of people out here. It's a wonderful crowd.
There's just a nice variety. You get a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and the homemade items. The people are so friendly. Great Christmas gifts, birthday gifts. They're unique.
Very family atmosphere. A lot of people in the summer when it's warmer, they'll come bring their blankets and they'll sit in the yard behind us there and eat the pretzels, and they just love it. Like to hang out by the water fountain.
You're right to focus on food. There is a lot of really good food here. Almost everyone we've spoken to here says, oh, I have to get a pretzel before I leave. I have to come and get a pretzel. Tell me about Ben's.
The wonder behind the pretzel is the secret recipe that everybody just oohs and ahs over it. People love to come out, grab a fresh hot one, just came out of the oven. And I always say we put a little love into the pretzel.
Well, probably there's a lot of love just in the booth. You've got a whole family operation. You're here with your wife. And who else is related to you back there?
3 of those are my children's first cousins. The rest are my children.
Okay.
And this is my wife, Mary, out here sampling.
You can check out the Chesterton European Market every Saturday from now until October. For more on this week's Jump in the Lake segment or any of our programs, go to lakeshorepublicmedia.org.
Don't suppose you got a copy of that secret pretzel recipe while you were there?
No, but you notice I had a whole stack of pretzels because I couldn't just buy Ben's pretzels for me. I had to buy them for the whole crew. And we sat out in the park and ate. And a lot of people do that there. There's wonderful food and a lot of nice places to kind of hang out. Or you just, keep it in your hand as you walk along and check out some of the artisans and artists and purveyors of the other booths. It's a really nice place.
Now, it's Ben's pretzels, right? Because one of them definitely had my name on it. I'm going to have to go out to the market and try it out for
pretzels.
myself.
And most people I spoke to there said, oh, you got to have one of Ben's pretzels. Oh, I come here every Saturday and have one of Ben's pretzels. So it was something like, okay, guys, we definitely have to hit the pretzel stand before we leave.
Wow.
So what else are we working on for next week?
Well, we've got a couple of stories talking to some local government officials about some budget cuts that have reduced staffing for some county agencies. and some kind of investigative work to see what's going on at our local VA. There's been, of course, a lot of news lately about the VA and some issues there. So we're talking to some local folks to see what they have to say about our local facility.
Right. There's been a lot of talk on the federal level, and now we're going to take it inward and kind of look at what's happening around Crown Point and some other local outfits trying to help veterans.
Yeah, but we are always looking for story ideas and suggestions. If you have something that you think we should be looking into or talking about, let us know. We also want to hear what you think about our programming here on Lakeshore Public Television. You can send your thoughts, concerns, or story ideas to tvfeedback@lakeshorepublicmedia.org. Again, any kind of comments, positive or negative, we do want to hear from you.
You can also tweet us at Lakeshore Report on Twitter.
Right. Well, thank you so much for joining us on Lakeshore Report. We hope to see you back here next week.
The Indiana University Northwest School of Business and Economics is the only public institution in the region to hold AACSB International accreditation. The program provides undergraduate business education with a balanced curricula based in leadership, teamwork, and technology. IUN serves both traditional and non-traditional commuter students in a diverse urban environment. Learn more at iun.edu/business.
Programming on Lakeshore Public Television is underwritten by NIPSCO. NIPSCO, helping to save energy and money with programs and ideas for your home, including the Appliance Recycling Program. That old freezer or refrigerator may be costing you more in energy than it's worth. It's possible to save up to $100 a year on your energy bill, and we'll pay you to pick it up. Find out more at nipsco.com/saveenergy.